Welcome back. This is the fourth installment in a series of talks with my former teacher, James Piorkowski, on his Tools for Productive Practicing, a collection of strategies and techniques you can apply in your practice and study of your instrument to ensure that you are solving problems and achieving your goals. You can download a PDF of the full list of tools on Jim's website, link in the description. Off we go.
S.T.P.
S.T.P, Stone Temple Pilots.
That's right. Used to be an oil additive for cars.
S.T.P, Stretched Time Practice.
Right. So, this is another way of saying slow practicing. But I called it this because of thinking of time between notes and what goes on between the notes. So, for example, if I go back to this prelude that I was playing earlier of mine, it's in 3/8. There are 16th note rhythms going on. If I really stretch the time between each one of those notes, I play the thumb on the fourth string, and then I'm thinking, what's going to happen next? I got my I finger prepared, my first finger's here. My I finger is hovering right in the gap between the second and third string. As soon as that happens, my thumb is ready to go again. And I'm thinking about what's going on in between the notes. I'm also thinking about the dynamic of each one of these fingers going into the string, because this is our dynamic hand, right? The more potential energy we put into the string, the more kinetic energy we get out. So right. I'm also thinking about how much pressure. If I want to crescendo that figure, which happens in measure 2, I have to think of how deep I'm going to go in the subsequent fingering. So stretch time is basically a concept of being aware of making decisions before the next note. Mm-hmm. It could be fingering, it could be dynamics, it could be rubato, it could be color. You have to maybe make a shift to the ponticello side, or soltasto, or you have to prep a pizzicato, a thumb mute pitch, palm mute pitch. So basically that's what that is. And so I gave it a little bit of a different title just to infer that we're using the time, that we're stretching between activities to really make a sense of what we're going to do and how we're going to do it. It's that simple.
Going slow enough so that you can think about the details in real time.
Right. And again, these stupid fingers, right, we're giving them signals, right? A little rhyme, clarify your commands to your hands. Mm-hmm. So do I have a clear instruction to these guys? They will be obedient. Whatever I tell them to do, they will do it. But I want to make sure I'm exactly clear as to what I'm saying. So I like the visual of that, or the concept of just pulling time away. And there's also a relaxing quality about that. Mm. When we play, sometimes we can find ourselves a little bit frenetic or anxious because things are moving really fast. But when we clarify all of these decisions in the stretched time between notes, eventually the brain is so amazing that it can make those actions happen when we get up to eventual tempo.
Right.
It's part of the miracle of what we're able to do.
Right.
So it's sort of like putting a drop of pond water in the microscope. You look at the palm water on your palm, it's just water, it's clear. And you look under the microscope and you see a whole world in there.
Yeah.
Well, that little world is what we have to do in that little time between notes, right? So if we stretch it out, it's like magnifying the moment.
Basically slow practice, but there is a lot more to it than that. I don't think I ever fully appreciated, back in the day, the importance of practicing slow, because it's just like, you just want to play the thing and you just want to go.
Of course.
I have a student right now who is working on Carcassi 1, the one we were just looking at a few minutes ago. This is somebody who, just some background on him, he, he'd been playing guitar for a while, and he kind of started dabbling in classical guitar on his own, trying to learn pieces above his pay grade, um, and then eventually he said, I want some lessons and I want to do this right, And so by the time he came to me, he'd already ingrained this motor habit of double stroking in the right hand, right? And so now we're trying to kick it, and we're using Carcassi 1 as the vehicle doing that, He can do the left hand, fine for the most part in this piece. But he'll play a whole scale run with his M finger, and I'll be like, you're still doing it, and he's like, what, really, so I told him, okay, you need to go like glacially slow, okay, and you need to say out loud every finger you're going to use before you use it, right?
That's really good.
And it's like if you're gonna break this habit, you need to do this, and it's I've heard it called zero error practice. Like you're not allowed to play a note unless you play it correctly, right? And I think I think that's sort of what you're describing, right? But it's there's opportunity to think about so many details in there, right? I mean, it's not just what's the right note, what finger am I using, how am I articulating the note, how am I preparing for the next note? It's like there's all these things that you can think about that when you actually go to play the piece for real, up to tempo, you're not thinking about those things because you can't.
That's right.
And yeah,
what I was going to put in more detail with your student is, the way any person learns is there's a neural synapse that happens in the brain. One of the neurons is in the place of the brain that determines what you want to do, and then it does this chemical electrical charge to another nerve and creates the synapse that sends the signal, say, to the I finger, to a rest stroke or a free stroke. And this neural synapse, it's like a firing, like a spark plug fire. And there's a saying amongst neurologists that synapses that fire together wire together. And the wiring is really a coating of myelin.
Yep, myelination.
Yeah.
I know about this. Yep.
And that covers that synapse. And the more myelin you get around that, the faster that charge goes through. It's like your insulation on an electric guitar cable.
Absolutely.
Everything is inside. So, what people call muscle memory, that's actually what it is. There's no such thing as muscle memory, really, per se. It's the neural synapses that are myelinated.
Carving so your student, those neural pathways.
Yeah, so your student has that so well plowed and cleared, that he will never lose that. What you're giving him now is a task of learning a whole nother neural synapse pathway.
Yeah.
And what you're saying and how you're teaching it is very good. Say it, clarify it, check your work. Did my I finger actually play that B when it should have been the I finger? That's really the way you do it. It's painstaking to change and find that new route.
And it's freaking demoralizing. I mean, it's just so, just debilitating to go through it. But it's like, it's what you need to do.
Yeah. But it does work. You just got to be patient. You got to trust the process.
Trust the process, yes. Yeah.
And actually, piggybacking to what we just talked about, and that's why the next tool is the next tool. It's called PNP, play and prepare. And so this is, exactly that, what we're talking about. So when we're alternating, for example, we want to see the finger that played move one way, and we want to see the finger that's going to play move the other way, crossing simultaneously.
Right.
And so if you're aware of that, the finger that's up to bat, if you will, is obviously up to bat. It's obviously the next guy to hit the ball.
Yeah.
So when you're practicing slowly like this with the stretch time in between, and if I'm doing, I'll go back to this example, and if I play P-I, P-M, I'm preparing I. I could even plant it in anticipation on the string I'm going to play first. Then I play I and then plant P, prepare P. So I'm actually in my brain in this stretch time, I'm thinking of two moves at the same time. What I'm playing and what I'm preparing. So
sequential planting.
Sequential planting, right. So I play the thumb, I touch and prep the I. Now I think, all right, I got to play the I and prep the thumb. And then I got to play the thumb and prep M, play M, prep the thumb, and then silence, because the rest are active in my piece.
Yeah.
So I have to be thinking about these two steps, and inserting that into stretch time is really effective.
Yeah.
And eventually these amazing neural synapses that become myelinated, eventually it just happens and you're prepping really fast. And it just happens, they're ready to go, and you can shape them and etc.
So what do you think about, because I'll have students do this, where they go really, really slow like this. And I don't have so much of a problem with it myself in my own practice, but, I see some students, they try to go this slow, but it's so slow that they're not hearing the music anymore, right? Because it's so stretched out. Mm-hmm. And they're kind of losing the compass of like, am I even playing the right notes right now?
It's so abstract.
It's so, exactly, yeah. I mean, what are your thoughts on that?
Well, suck it up.
That's what I say. Okay, good. Yeah. No, right. Yeah.
It's again one of those things when we're trying to do a new thing, it's frustrating.
Yeah.
But that shouldn't inhibit us from doing it. In fact, it should encourage us, because we find a weak spot in our learning or our abilities. I found the chink in the armor, if you will. Mm-hmm. Now I can strengthen that weak spot, and that's one of what these tools can do. Also, they reveal things to us that we weren't aware of, that we didn't know. Mm-hmm. So, it's also proven through many studies that the brain actually thrives with being challenged like that. Mm-hmm. It grows. The plasticization is better. There was some Yale studies a few decades ago, that maybe not even that long, but that prove this, that more neurons fire, the brain is more active. It's actually a healthier brain. So even though it feels frustrating to us, all those fireworks going on in the brain trying to figure it out is really healthy. And it's also, of course, very directly productive to what we're trying to achieve.
Right.
So, it's, on the bottom of this practice sheet, I have 3 lines: trust the process, embrace the process, and enjoy the process. And that they're in that sequence for a reason, because trusting the process is, people hearing you and me say this and knowing that we have applied this to ourselves and our students and have seen results. This is tried and proven. Yeah. And then embrace the process means that, all right, now I'm going to do it. I'm going to just suck it up and do it. And then the result is you enjoy the process, because you're seeing the fruit in your own growth. You're seeing the development. And you might not see it tomorrow, but if you're doing it, in a few days, even, you'll see it. In a week, without a doubt,
Yeah.
So
it's like jogging.
Yeah.
It's like the hardest part is getting started. It gets easier.
That's right. That's right.
But you got to do it for a while. But it gets easier,
Yeah, I'm a morning runner, and sometimes that first half hour, like literally at 6 a.m. or 6:30, that first half hour or a half mile is like, I don't know if I can do this. My
Yeah.
ankles feel wobbly
Yeah.
or whatever, and then I'm at a mile mark, and it's like, ooh, this is good.
Yeah. Right. Um, yeah. I mean, it's like that for me with biking. I hit that first hill, and it's like, why am I doing this? And
Yeah,
then you kind of hit like a momentum.
yeah,
Yeah. There's something I don't remember who I heard say this. Maybe it was Jack Conte. He says, on learning new things, you have to be willing to suck for a while,
hmm
you know, and
sure,
and just embrace that you're going to suck at something new for a bit
hmm hmm
until you don't. You know,
right. That's right. There are a few aliens amongst us who seem to be able to defy that
yeah,
maxim,
yeah.
and but I'm certainly not one of them. I will
Oh,
suck at something for a while.
yeah. I mean, most of us are not like that.
Right.
Yeah. Makes me think of your two rules.
Which are?
No, rule number one. I'll never forget this. For my first day in guitar ensemble at Fredonia, you wrote this on the board. Everyone, I have two rules. Rule number one: do excel. Rule number two: don't suck.
Right.
That's it.
If you apply that to everything,
Yeah, yeah.
yeah, don't break those rules.
I remember, we'd be playing horrible in guitar ensemble, and you'd be like, guys, you're breaking my first two rules. I think my first thought was like, whoa, this guy's intense. Yeah. Which, I mean, I think you could be kind of intense sometimes, but in a good way.
Well, I was demanding of excellence.
Yeah, which is good.
I
Yeah.
mean, not once did I wake up to go to teach and say, I can't wait to have my students achieve mediocrity today. It wasn't what I was after.
Yeah.
And something that I learned after some years of teaching was that I realized how great a student or a quartet or an ensemble could be.
Mm-hmm.
But the students didn't know.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
And I really mean that sincerely so. And one of the most satisfying things about being with a student, especially someone who comes in as a freshman and I have 4 years with them, where they end up from where they started. Like, they don't recognize themselves. They shouldn't.
Yeah.
They shouldn't be paying tuition if they're the same person. Like, you just wasted your money.
Yeah. Right.
So, and what direction are we supposed to go in? We're supposed to head towards as best as you could be.
Mm-hmm.
And there's no shortcut. It's work and it's effort and it's trial and error and failure, and you get back up off the canvas and go back to the next round.
Yeah.
So,
No
yeah,
hacks, no shortcuts.
that's right. I mean, there's a direct path,
Yeah.
but it's not a shortcut.
Right.
You can't circumnavigate. You can't. You're going to circumnavigate all over the place if you try to take shortcuts. It'll take longer because of all of that stuff you'll learn and it gets myelinated. Like, now you got to go another route, and that's frustrating. So.
Alrighty, thanks for watching. Again, you can get a PDF of Jim's tools on his website, linked down below. If you have any thoughts, questions, or experiences you'd like to share related to anything we talked about, please feel free to leave a comment. In the next segment, we'll be talking about making the music more difficult, fragment chaining, and backwards practicing. Thanks again. We'll see you in the next one.